Who is IT?
Andrew,
Yes.
can you make sure if anybody is in the waiting room that you can let them in because it is an open to the public?
Yeah, the only person that's listed as an attendee is Justin Glass.
I
but she
can't
should be able
understand.
to see.
I don't know if audio's not working in here, but we couldn't hear a thing you said.
Sounded like he was mumbling.
The only person not as a panelist is Justin Glass. He's listed as an attendee, but he should still be able to see and hear.
So we want him to participate.
Well, sometimes if somebody has an agenda item on our traffic commission, they want to speak on their request.
Hey Russell, guess what? What? I made it. We should know, huh? Semiconductor hat on. Yeah.
Thank you.
Does that mean someone's supposed to call the meeting order?
Absolutely not. Okay, so Toby's out, he's our chairman typically, so I am gonna chair this meeting. So I will call to order the traffic commission meeting for July 21st, 2022 at 1:30 p.m. Second item on the agenda is approval of minutes for May 19, 2022.
I move to approve. I'd second.
Okay. And you don't have to take a vote, is that correct?
Usually do.
It's different rules now that we're.
We can if we want to count the ayes and nays.
We don't have
and
anybody on there though that's on the board, so.
Okay.
All those in favor for approving the minutes as the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The third, can I add Justin Glass? Can I ask what item you're here for so we don't miss you?
The new business item A.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. Thank you. Old business is adding a sign at Victor Pike southbound for Fluff Mill Road, Victor Pike. I think Ginger, we had tabled this, for Ginger to go back and look through the minutes because this is an item that's been on our traffic commission numerous times. I believe you found it, how many?
3 or 4.
That the sign has been changed at that intersection? So I don't know, 1996, 1997. 2000. 2013. So did anybody have a chance to look at the history of this?
I did. Maybe we should just put a roundabout there and piss everyone off. And tick everyone off.
Well, I mean,
So it looks like the signage has been the same for 10 years, and I don't think we have an increase in crash history at all.
yeah, the reason for this is because the through movement is Victor Pike, which is on a curve. And this is the yield signs for the southbound traffic that wants to turn left to let them know they need to yield to through traffic coming from the right. So that's difference in this in previous proposals, it's a yield sign plus we clarify who they're to yield to, and that's the traffic from the right. And this is something we've been doing on quite a few of our intersections within the county. And in the notes, I did note that the yield sign had been proposed previously because people were turning left in front of oncoming traffic on Victor Pike. And I think it was denied, but then they recommended that the other direction, northbound, have a sign that says, watch for left turning traffic. So instead of that, never sign, as far as I know, never got put up. And I think a yield sign is a little more proactive and more of a positive guidance to who's got right of way and to help prevent that left turn conflict at this location. So that's why this is proposed.
This would be just triggering for vehicles on Victor turning left onto Buck.
Correct. To remind them that they need to yield to oncoming Victor Pike traffic. And it's not really obvious because of the geometry of the intersection.
The stop sign now is for what?
Flock Mill, correct.
And it's there,
It does exist.
it exists right
Right.
there.
So he.
And the turn signs exist, the ones in black exist. And the red signs are the proposed.
So it'd be traffic, this is traffic going, I guess, northbound, I would consider it northbound on Victor. So cars turning left here, they know stop.
Right.
Or yield.
Well, it's the southbound Victor
Coming this way, you're
yields to northbound Victor Pike traffic coming around the corner,
what's there right now?
just to stop.
So there is,
Flock Mill.
okay, so basically you're talking about adding that in addition to the stop sign or
Correct.
just kind of a,
And we've done that at numerous locations already.
Isn't that common knowledge, basically, though, is having a driver's license? Otherwise, we'd be putting up yield signs.
If it was, if it's a normal T intersection, you wouldn't need one. Because it's pretty obvious who's got right of way, but it's because of the roadway geometry. It's just a reinforcing a reminder that
Traffic
before you
on your
turn
right
left, you
has to
gotta
stop.
make sure it's clear coming from the right, so, yeah. And we've done this at other locations, Bottom and what was it, Simpson Chapel. We've done things similar to at Sample and Simpson Chapel.
Has there ever been a yield sign at the location I'm talking about now in the past?
It's been
Yes.
recommended in the past,
I think there was a yield sign years ago.
I never saw an established
It was a-
yield sign.
They took out.
And if we made that to be a three-way stop, everybody's gonna get ticked off
Well,
and nobody's gonna obey it.
that would be problematic because most of your traffic's on Victor Pike.
Yeah.
It's not, there's not much on Flock Mill at all.
Yeah, it said in the 97 minutes, it was noted at one time southbound Victor had to stop for oncoming traffic.
And when you've got two stop signs in a three-legged intersection, that causes confusion too. People they don't know who they're supposed to stop for. They don't realize that the other movement still has right of way, even after they stop. So that causes confusion. So you should either have one stop sign or three stop signs, or in this case, one stop sign and a yield sign that helps clarify that right of way.
Pulling all those.
I'll make a motion, we add a yield sign there, Victor. Southbound.
I yield to your proposal.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of this action of installing the yield sign, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
With the caveat of the traffic from the right. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. On to new business, item A, request for a 3-stop control for the intersection of Chapel Hill Road and Guthrie Road.
A lot of stuff on that one too.
I believe the signage there was just changed over the last,
It's been there as long as I've been here.
is this not the intersection that we were just getting the calls about?
Correct, that's Justin as a
That's
request.
last.
Yeah, it's been like that for about 10 years, I'd say.
Yeah, he made the request for, instead of the original sign proposal I had with the yield sign, that we consider an all-way stop.
So we just added a yield sign there.
In May.
No,
No.
never did.
There's nothing there.
Intersection.
We don't know on that.
Yeah, it was on the May.
I think the history shows that there should be a stop sign on South Chapel Hill Road, but there isn't one. There's only one on South Chapel Hill going north.
This subdivision or this intersection is not what we just discussed on item F in May.
Yes, we did, but
Okay, thank you. I was thinking.
yeah, because, you know, you're not dreaming. Justin made a request that we reconsider looking at an all-way stop at the intersection instead of what we had proposed. So
Okay,
I didn't make any changes in the field, even though it went to the commissioners, got approved. I didn't do anything until we hear from Justin
oh,
and reconsider.
okay, so in May. Paul Satterley said traffic volumes are really low, so we couldn't make it an all-way stop. Currently, this has a stop sign for Guthrie and Chapel Hill northbound, but does not have anything for Chapel Hill westbound. So we approved adding a yield sign. So we did vote to make changes at this intersection.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
Add a yield sign for westbound Chapel Hill and to remove the stop sign for eastbound Guthrie Road and add the warning signs as indicated. And then this went to the county commissioners and it was approved there.
Correct.
Okay,
And then once it was advertised, actually, once it was advertised and I think the paper had an article about it.
they did.
That's when Justin called and asked that we consider an all-way stop at the intersection.
Okay, thank you. I was I thought I was losing my mind there.
No,
I said,
yeah,
"Oh, we haven't done
fine.
anything. I'm like, I think we did last month.
No. So we're good. It's still the two stop signs at the three-legged intersection.
And this is kind of similar to the, we just discussed.
Correct.
Should be either 3 stop signs or 1 stop.
Well,
sign.
that's why I prepared 3 different alternatives and each one has its own merits and
So Justin,
clarifies right of way, but yeah, we just want to
let him have
consider.
a chance to
Yeah.
voice his
Okay,
request.
yeah, that's fine.
Great.
Hi, yeah, my biggest concern with it is on the Chapel Hill West, and I don't know if I can share screen that you can see.
Technology stand.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see, are you able to see the map screen?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right, so right in this area is a dip and right here is a hill. And so when you're coming this way, I really don't see who's coming this way and they don't see me because I'm in a low profile Camry. And so I do see people running this stop sign a lot, which if I run through here without stopping, I have a feeling there's gonna be people not stopping here, but these people also can't really see around the corner what's coming. And I know the traffic volume isn't very high through the week, but on the weekends you have RV trucks with campers, trucks with boats, bicyclists, motorcyclists, and all that traveling this road. So I think making this where they need to yield to traffic coming from the right where they're not used to, you're going to end up having more accidents where they're going to be hitting people coming through here because they're just not going to see them.
Is your map, is that Google Earth?
That is Google Earth. They actually have Bartlettsville Road instead of Chapel Hill Road here.
Can you do a street view of that?
I don't think it has a street view on this.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
see. Let me see if maybe there is. If there's
Have a little, Oh.
The little person down in.
yeah, I don't think they've got
Okay.
street. I've tried to look at it before. Oh,
there we go.
maybe. Yeah.
Wow.
I just thought that one might show a little bit better.
So this here is actually a mound right here, and this is Guthrie. And there it tells you it's South Chapel Hill Road. And that's actually what was calling Bartlettsville a little bit ago. And then this is where there's a little bit of a mound and it dips down. So as you're coming up to it, you really aren't going to be seeing a whole lot through the trees and the hill until you get right up on it to make your left turn, which you're gonna be cutting through here.
So you think the problem of
Roundabout.
like basically the Chapel Hill Road going west?
Big tractor tire in the middle.
That's what they do in Jamaica. Just throw a tire in there to side.
Yeah, I've not noticed any accidents the way it is because Guthrie stops and they look to see if there's anybody coming down this route. And I know the suggestion before was to add a yield sign with the asterisk essentially saying you yield to traffic coming from the right. And then to remove this sign and then put a sign that says cross traffic does not stop, but I feel like that's just adding confusion to it because if a yield sign is just not a yield sign and you have to put an explanation underneath it that it's not exactly yield to all traffic, it's only yield to traffic from the right, you're just adding confusion to something that you can just throw a stop sign in and be done with it.
And I mean, just throwing a stop sign in, we have certain warrants that we have to meet on installing stop signs. So it's not as easy just to go throw up a stop sign where somebody feels like if we just throw, it's gonna solve a problem.
Yeah, and I feel like you're going to cause a problem with this by adding a yield sign with an explanation that you only yield to traffic from the right.
Correct, but we, like I said, we do have to follow a manual. It's Indiana, it's our law book, basically.
Yeah, Lisa, that the highlighted areas explains that
So
you can warrant a always stop based on site distance issues.
same
And
traffic counts.
yeah, similar volumes on each leg. It doesn't have to strictly meet a minimum traffic volume to be warranted. And we've done similar things like at Earl Young and at NERT, where there was a three-legged intersection, site distance is difficult, and we put an always stop in there.
Would you consider the trees and those hills he's
It's-
talking about?
It's a similar situation where we've got even volumes, which solves one of the, or satisfies one of the criterias as well as site distance issues.
I guess I kind of go back to it was mentioned of putting it in as a three-way stop and you did in May, you said no.
Well, I did a little more digging. And found that, you know, you can, based on site distance issues, make it work, so.
This is what Justice would like to see too out there is a three-way stop.
And I think, hasn't always stops been requested previously, Ginger? I think they have.
Yes, they have.
Yes, if you see right there,
So it's come up several times that.
if you see right there.
Oh, right. When was that? Well, that was
Last time we.
No,
talked
but
about
it has come up in years
Yeah.
past that an always stop has been requested, so it's not something new.
And you're saying the area does justify it because of site distance now.
Well, the combination of things, you know, even levels of traffic on the approaches and yeah, site distance issues, geometry, all kind of contribute to.
And that would have been my concern too, is 1 month we were saying, no, we can't do it, but then we just can't base it on a residential. And so I'm glad Paul, as engineer, went back and relooked at things that it could be warranted to make it a multi-way stop.
Yeah, another thing is option and criteria to be considered in the engineering study include the need to control left turn conflicts, which here is a good example of that as well.
Okay,
So out of
I mean-
3 proposals, are you recommending another three-way stop sign?
I just would like us to pick one that we think works best for the neighborhood. And from what I've seen in the past and the requests, and then the current request is, you know, we're leaning towards an always stop, it looks like.
From the time that I've been driving school buses out there, I haven't driven a school bus out there for 9 years, but 7 years in front of that I did. I've had 2 close calls at that intersection in the school bus. for this specific thing, come around making a left turn. And somebody pops over the hill. Going left as well. Going up obviously faster than they should have been. But,
Reinstate your motion from back wherever you did it.
I don't know that I made the most, I suggested.
I make a motion, we put a three-way stop.
And delete the yield signs.
Yeah,
Second.
Well,
and I
I'll
agree.
change the, yeah.
We'll have to change it on the
It
ordinance,
never got put in, so,
but it was approved as an ordinance.
correct. We'll
Yes.
have to revise that ordinance. Correct.
So I would second Russell's.
That's a third.
Too late.
Yeah, Amanda beat you to it.
No, I've made a suggestion in 2022.
Your problem is you're making a motion.
Yeah, you know, that's all right.
So we have a first,
We have a first,
and a
second,
second,
third.
and a third, to make this a three-way stop and delete, eliminate the ordinance for the yield sign. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Justin.
Well, thank you.
Unless Paul changes his mind.
And I actually,
Next month.
Upon further review.
Just joking.
I actually did visit out there last night with lots, well, not lots, but
Motion passed.
people who would have a concern.
I've been out there a couple times because we just paved there.
Okay, I love it down at this paved. That's great. E&B paving did it, I guess.
Flint.
That one was Flint, out of Bedford.
Someone got a new study out that more accidents, fatality accidents are happening now. Speeds are higher, rural roads, not interstate,
Yes,
Really?
and people are just
They're flying.
flying.
Well, and that's just it. We pave the road and then we get called and we get calls to pave the road because it's a disaster. And then once you pave it, then we get the angry phone calls and said, you've made our road into a
Racetrack.
yeah.
It's a no win. Well, the bumps slowed them down. I mean,
right.
potholes slow you down a little bit.
That's right.
Invert.
I can do what Greene County does and do a really lousy job, so the new road is bumpy too.
Well, they have more Owen County. They have more gravel roads than they have paved roads.
No, I mean the paved road that the state just did is, I asked my grandson, a 6-year-old, isn't the new road nice? He's like, no, it's still bumpy. 6 years old.
So moving on to item B. Request for truck prohibition on Lawson Road between Simpson Chapel Road, Bottom Road, and then Fleming Place between Sample Road and Lawson Road. I think Paul can explain. We're probably getting this due to our road project.
Oh, yeah, well, there's gonna be some spillover, but this request came in by Mr. Frank.
Winarski.
And he's brought this up previously, but I guess with the current construction activity on Simpson Chapel and Sample, more cut through traffic is occurring, but it's been a problem even before the construction started. And Lawson Road, for some reason, the trucker's GPS finds that it's just a hair shorter than taking Simpson Chapel and Bottom, and they get routed through the neighborhood there on Lawson Road, and Lawson Road is maybe 15 feet wide in some spots. And trucks have been off into yards and all sorts of things, so. I recommend that we consider placing no through truck signs at both ends of Lawson and also at Fleming. Fleming Place, sorry, to reinforce the fact that through trucks, well, prohibited, plus they're, not, the road isn't able to accommodate them as well. So we've done this on other roads, Leonard Springs, May, Mount Carmel, to Wolf Mountain, and find this pretty effective.
Mhm.
Truck drivers do pay attention, and then doesn't alienate the folks that live within the area that have to haul stuff in and out or get deliveries. So
Yeah,
we find that's pretty effective.
at Lawson Road, there's this big incline.
Yes.
I mean, I've been,
Steep hill.
and there's
Sharp corners.
I've been-
It's
Yeah,
just,
it's,
it's not built for truck traffic whatsoever, so.
Having taken a grain truck through there.
Little tight,
I
isn't it?
agree.
But
Like
yeah,
a reasonable.
if you're taking a grain truck, you're gonna be
What?
stopping.
What is
Yeah,
the enforcement on a sign like that? I mean, is that a suggestion or is it something that citable?
if it is.
It's an ordinance.
County, it's an ordinance.
It's an ordinance.
We can cite an ordinance violation, not a state law, but an ordinance violation, which. No, I'll stop there.
Yes, it's enforceable because it's an ordinance.
I assumed, I just wondered,
It's like a stop sign, is that an ordinance?
you know, like some businesses will put no through traffic.
I'll make a.
What are you gonna do? Well, it's private property. I bet you could.
I'll second.
Make the vote to go ahead and prohibit trucks on Lawson Road between Chapel Road and Bottom Road. And also on Clemens Place between Sample Road and Lawson.
So we have a motion
And a sec,
and a second.
I knew what he was saying.
All those in favor of this item, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Request for a three-way stop control for Wiccan Street and Hennessy Street and Wiccan Street and Meeting House Lane.
Okay, this request was made by Mr. Kevin Campbell. Requesting always stops at those two locations, one's north of the, or between the two roundabouts at Meeting House. And the others at Hennessy and Wickens,
And they're
just
not.
south of the roundabout. And we recently, a little history, we recently put up an always stop at McDougal and Hennessy due to the, the neighborhood street, equal volumes and all that kind of stuff. And that seems to have worked really well. The neighborhood association came in and got approval for a speed board, which finally got put up. It's just, it's on Wiccan Street, just north of the,
Just north of the
Greenwich
big
condos.
pool of gas pipe that's going in.
yeah,
there.
well, it's
Yeah.
caused some troubles there. So that finally got put up. And I talked to Mr. Campbell and said that we don't like to use always stops for speed control. And suggested that he investigate the use of speed humps. So I gave him our speed hump policy and he's gonna look into that. And so that's my recommendation, instead of always stops, that they investigate the use of speed humps and also see how their speed board does in terms of impacting the speeds on Wiccan Street.
I move we deny the request.
I think that,
So we have a motion to deny. And we have a second. All those in favor of this item, please go by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. It looks like item D is a cleanup item to codify a yield sign on Indian Valley Drive for Rose Creek Drive. And delete the yield sign on Rose Creek Drive for Indian Valley Drive. So it looks like that could have been a typo in our ordinance. Since we're just codifying it. So it looks like just the wording in our ordinance was wrong, but the signage is correct out in the field.
Motion to correct the wording then. Is that what you're asking? I'll make the motion to correct the wording.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to correct the ordinance. All those in favor of this, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Do we have any other discussion that's not on the agenda?
While I was out,
Except anything that Paul wants to talk about?
yeah. While I was out surveying people last night about Chapel Hill Gunnett Road intersection. One of the residents out there did a good bit of complaining about Prince Road, which is mile or so away.
Dead end road
Yeah, dead end road,
runs into
8
the
feet wide maybe.
DNR property, I believe.
She did express gratitude that potholes were filled. But is not happy with our local delivery services. Is that a good way to say it without naming names? Flying down the road and trying to cause crashes and no place to pull off so anybody can get by. And since I'm a traffic commissioner, what can we do about it? So I'll bring it up in the meeting. So I brought it up in the meeting. So I guess can we look to see if there's any way where we could maybe put some pullouts in amongst through there to there, or should we just put if you're traveling on this road, slow down sign?
How long is the road? You said
It's not very long.
About a mile, I think, isn't it?
Isn't Prince Road that long?
I've never been down it, honest. I've never have.
I'd have to look in the inventory.
Maybe it
I
has.
guess the first thing I would do is make sure it has a ordinance for a speed limit.
Yeah,
Narrow road, we
Um,
have warning signs like that.
We typically don't put up narrow road signs.
I
Um,
mean, you can see it's narrow.
if we were trying to do bump outs or something, you would have to get into design, you'd have to get into right of way acquisition.
Well, so I didn't know how big a right of way is there.
Probably edge of it.
Typically is edge of pavement.
Okay.
For something like that, unless there's been development in the area where we've purchased right of way, then we usually have wider.
So
way.
I said I would bring it up. I wrote it down here, so I would remember to bring it up. So.
I would probably look and see if it has an established speed limit first.
Okay.
Well, we did put up a no outlet sign on it
Yep.
recently, so
And I saw that.
a lot of times that helps cut down the amount of traffic.
Mhm.
Especially where people are lost and
True.
familiar with the area, so.
But it almost looks like it's a blacktop driveway. That's what it looks
I'm surprised it's paved.
like. I don't want to tell you.
I am, I mean,
Maybe because it
just
says-
don't mean that.
Maybe because it
I'm
says
surprised
Prince on it. You know what?
Yeah, there.
What city was.
I went out and looked at Tate and Johnson,
It sounds like Tate.
and they are literally 8 feet wide, fully paved, and they are county roads.
Where?
Off of Handy,
To one house.
Oh,
one road is
Driveway.
0.08 miles long to one house. And they're calling about speeding delivery trucks and all this and that.
Hmm.
It's like, it's literally a driveway that was
Wow.
home for some reason, but,
well, like I said, I'd probably look and see, Ginger can look and see if we have an established speed limit. And if we don't, Paul can look at it and we can bring it back to establish a speed limit. That'd probably be my first suggestion.
Yeah.
does it have a no lake access sign on it? I forget.
There's a couple of them. I don't know if it's got one or not here.
I don't think that one does.
No, okay.
It may, but I don't think it does.
So any other discussions of anything that's not on the agenda? We usually put something on here for the fall festival parade anytime.
I don't recall.
Okay, I just knew that was coming up in September. They are doing that again. I couldn't remember if we ever have any action with it. It just came to my mind. So if we don't, we don't.
Any news on Fullerton Pike project?
Fullerton Pike Phase 3. Actually, we are 18 parcels for right of way. I think we're down to our last one. We purchased everything else. Goes to letting July of 2023, so it's still on target for that.
Okay, so
Tree-
one year
tree
from
clearing
now
Starts November 15th,
of this.
We want to do the tree clearing in the fall.
right away, or sorry, utility relocation.
So letting the contracts will be a year from now.
July.
So construction probably will be mostly 2024.
2024. By the time they get the contracts within DOT, they award it.
They'd start on the bridge over the winter time, no problem.
Okay,
I think they allow about 18 months or so for construction, 18 months to 24 months.
yeah, I need to get it done before I retire. I want to drive on it a few times before.
I know they won't move up the letting date because that's the beginning of a fiscal year. So they won't move up that funding for that project because It's a project.
Yeah,
Always tired.
the roundabout at Curry, is that a year-long project?
Oh, no, that should be open by the end of September.
Oh,
That's the new
The whole
Should be-
thing,
date.
it's a month early.
hallelujah.
Yeah, that one's going really well.
We have a crash report coming up or the study that we often look at. Is that-
I thought it would be on here.
It just seems like
I
we
think you
haven't
said that
completed.
we just completed the last few years
Did we?
because
Okay.
it got it,
Skip one for COVID.
but then we hired an intern and he actually just finished it probably about 3 weeks ago or so.
The intern does those?
We had somebody from
Where's it from?
Under close supervision.
of Paul.
Oh, it turned out pretty good.
He did,
He did a nice
they looked
job.
good. He did do a great job. So
Very
he caught us up for last year and this year. So
Very-
that'll be on the August meeting.
Okay.
Really 100.
And the Hilly Hundred will be on the August meeting. But yeah, that'll be open. Right now it's scheduled into September.
Okay.
So. The date of the next meeting is August 18th, 2022. And
I
Same.
probably won't be here because that is moving week.
Yeah.
that's what.
Moving week.
Oh, okay. All right, so if there's no other item for discussion, then. Move for adjournment.
And let the record show that you made all of the motions.
No, I made one.
Well, which one did you make? You tried to make one, but I
One
got around.
Steve, he stopped.
Paul did
He made a
Wiggins.
Motion
To deny.
I did the last one.
Deny.